June 15, 1975, Carnegie Hall fell silent as a country boy from Virginia stepped onto its prestigious stage. Roy Clark wasn't just there to perform, he was about to shatter every preconception about country music. That night, armed with just his guitar and his signature smile, he would prove that the boundaries between country, classical, and popular music were more permeable than anyone had imagined. But behind that historic performance lay a story of struggle, determination, and an unrelenting drive for excellence that few people knew about. Today we're diving deep into the extraordinary life of Roy Clark, the musical prodigy who transformed country music while battling personal demons that would shape his final years. From his humble beginnings in a Virginia tobacco farm to becoming one of television's most beloved personalities, this is the untold story of a true American original. Born in Marin, Virginia in 1933, Roy's first stage wasn't Carnegie Hall or the Grand Ole Opry, it was his family's modest front porch. His father, Hester Clark, worked the tobacco fields by day and played square dances by night, unknowingly setting the foundation for his son's remarkable career. Young Roy absorbed every note, every technique, watching his father's callous fingers dance across the guitar strings during those warm Virginia evenings. The Clark family's life wasn't easy. The Great Depression had left its mark on rural Virginia, and every member of the family had to contribute. While other children played after school, Roy split his time between working the tobacco fields and practicing music. His father's gift of a guitar at age 14 would prove to be the turning point in young Roy's life, though neither of them could have imagined just how far that simple instrument would take him. What set Roy apart wasn't just natural talent, it was an almost superhuman dedication to perfecting his craft. While other teenagers were heading to sock hops and drive-in movies, Roy would practice until his fingers bled, often playing through the night until the roosters announced dawn. His mother would find him asleep with his guitar, having practiced until exhaustion overtook him. Those early years shaped not just his musicianship, but his character. Every morning in the tobacco fields taught him the value of hard work. Every evening spent practicing taught him the importance of persistence. By age 15, Roy wasn't just playing guitar, he was mastering multiple instruments. The banjo, fiddle, and mandolin all became extensions of his musical voice. Local musicians twice his age would watch in amazement as this teenager effortlessly switched between instruments, playing with a sophistication that seemed impossible for someone so young. His first major competition victory came at the National Country Music Championships, where he didn't just win one category, he dominated three: guitar, banjo, and fiddle. This unprecedented achievement caught the attention of industry veterans, but Roy's path to stardom wouldn't be a straight line. The 1950s saw Roy honing his craft in Washington, D.C.'s vibrant music scene. Playing in smoke-filled clubs and dim-lit bars, he developed something unique, a style that blended country authenticity with sophisticated musicianship. His reputation grew among fellow musicians who marveled at his ability to play everything from lightning-fast bluegrass to complex classical pieces. These early years in D.C. would prove crucial in shaping his versatile approach to entertainment. It was during this period that Roy began developing his stage presence. Working the club circuit taught him valuable lessons about entertaining an audience. He learned that technical brilliance alone wasn't enough. You had to connect with people on a personal level. His natural wit started emerging between songs, and soon audiences were coming as much for his humor as his playing. But success didn't come easily. The music business in the 1950s was tough, especially for a country boy trying to make it in the city. There were nights when the clubs were empty, when the pay barely covered gas money. Yet Roy persevered, taking every gig he could find, from wedding receptions to radio shows. Each performance, no matter how small, was treated with the same dedication and professionalism that would later become his trademark. His breakthrough came when he caught the attention of Jimmy Dean, who was looking for a guitarist for his television show. Roy's audition wasn't just impressive, it was revelatory. Here was a country musician who could play with the precision of a classical virtuoso while maintaining the warmth and accessibility of a down-home entertainer. Dean hired him on the spot. Television proved to be Roy's true calling. His appearances on The Jimmy Dean Show revealed a natural performer who could not only play brilliantly, but connect with audiences through humor and heart. The camera loved his genuine smile and easygoing manner. Viewers at home felt like they were watching a friendly neighbor who just happened to be a musical genius. The 1960s marked a dramatic turning point in Roy's career. His guest appearances on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson demonstrated his ability to win over sophisticated urban audiences with his unique blend of country charm and world-class musicianship. Carson, known for his discerning taste, became one of Roy's biggest supporters, frequently inviting him back and helping to establish him as a national figure. Then came the opportunity that would define his legacy: Hee Haw. When CBS was developing the show in 1969, they needed hosts who could embody the spirit of country music while appealing to a broad audience. Roy Clark and Buck Owens were chosen to co-host, but no one could have predicted the cultural phenomenon that would follow. As co-host of Hee Haw, Roy brought country music into millions of American homes. The show's success wasn't just in its entertainment value, it helped bridge the cultural divide between rural and urban America during a time of significant social change. While the country was experiencing political upheaval and social transformation, Hee Haw provided a weekly reminder of American values and traditional entertainment. The demands of television stardom took their toll. Behind the scenes, Roy maintained a punishing schedule that would have broken lesser performers. Television tapings often ran for days at a time, with multiple episodes being shot back-to-back. Between tapings, he maintained an aggressive touring schedule, sometimes performing hundreds of shows a year. His guitar technique during this period revolutionized how country musicians approached their instruments. Roy's innovative hybrid picking method, combining flat picking with fingerstyle techniques, created a sound that was uniquely his own. Fellow musicians would study his performances, trying to understand how he achieved such clarity and speed while maintaining the warm, authentic country tone that audiences loved. One particularly memorable night at the Grand Ole Opry in 1974 showcased Roy's extraordinary versatility. After playing a blazing version of Malagueña that left the audience stunned, he seamlessly transitioned into Orange Blossom Special, demonstrating his mastery of both classical and traditional country styles. The performance became legendary among Nashville musicians, with copies of the recording passed around like precious artifacts. The 1970s saw Roy expanding his horizons beyond television. His performances at Carnegie Hall weren't just concerts, they were statements about the legitimacy of country music as an art form. When he took the stage in that prestigious venue, he didn't just play country music, he demonstrated its complexity and sophistication through masterful performances that incorporated elements of classical, jazz, and bluegrass. His international tours broke new ground for country music. In 1976, when Roy traveled to the Soviet Union, he proved that music could transcend political boundaries. Soviet audiences, who had little exposure to American country music, were captivated by his virtuosity and charm. In Japan, his technical brilliance earned him a devoted following that continues to this day. His approach to teaching guitar was as innovative as his playing. Roy developed a systematic method that broke down complex techniques into manageable pieces, helping countless students master the instrument. His instructional materials, particularly his Lightning Fingers series, became essential resources for aspiring guitarists. The recording studio became another arena for Roy's creativity. His version of Yesterday When I Was Young showcased his ability to bring emotional depth to his performances. The song became his signature piece, demonstrating that he was more than just a skilled instrumentalist, he was an artist who could touch hearts through his music. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, Roy's influence continued to grow. He became a mentor to countless young musicians, sharing his knowledge through instructional books and videos. His approach to guitar playing, which combined traditional country techniques with elements of jazz and classical music, influenced a generation of performers. Artists like Brad Paisley and Keith Urban have cited Roy's innovative playing style as a major influence on their own music. But success came with its challenges. The constant travel and performance schedule began affecting his health. Respiratory issues, exacerbated by years of performing in smoke-filled venues, became increasingly problematic. Yet Roy continued pushing forward, driven by his love for music and entertaining. He might have been tired backstage, but the moment he stepped into the spotlight, the energy and enthusiasm that had made him famous never failed to appear. His dedication to musical excellence never wavered, even as health issues began to limit his appearances. In the studio, he continued to demand perfection, often recording multiple takes until every note met his exacting standards. His practice routine remained rigorous, hours spent daily maintaining his technical skills and learning new material. Away from the spotlight, Roy was known for his generosity. He established scholarship programs for young musicians, donated instruments to school music programs, and regularly performed at benefit concerts. His belief in giving back to the community that had supported him was unwavering. Many successful musicians today got their start with instruments or lessons funded by Roy's quiet philanthropy. In his later years, respiratory problems increasingly affected his ability to perform. The man who had once maintained a schedule of hundreds of shows per year had to carefully choose his appearances. Yet even as his health declined, his spirit remained strong. He continued to mentor young musicians, sharing not just his musical knowledge, but the wisdom gained from a lifetime in entertainment. Roy Clark's passing in November 2018 marked the end of an era in country music. His final days were spent in Tulsa, Oklahoma, surrounded by family and the instruments that had been his constant companions throughout his remarkable career. Even in his last weeks, he continued to pick up his guitar, his fingers still finding the melodies that had brought joy to millions. The outpouring of grief following his death demonstrated the depth of his impact on American music and culture. Artists from every genre paid tribute to his influence. The Country Music Hall of Fame, where he had been inducted in 1982, created a special exhibition celebrating his contributions to the art form. Today, Roy Clark's legacy lives on in multiple ways. The Roy Clark Foundation continues his mission of bringing music education to young people. His instructional materials still help aspiring guitarists master their craft. Most importantly, his example of combining technical excellence with genuine humility continues to inspire new generations of performers. From that Virginia tobacco farm to the world's greatest stages, Roy Clark's journey reminds us that true greatness often comes wrapped in humility. He never forgot his roots, even as he soared to heights few country musicians had reached before. His story isn't just about music, it's about the power of staying true to yourself while pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The memories of Roy Clark continue to resonate through country music. In Nashville's recording studios, his innovative techniques influence modern productions. On stages around the world, guitarists incorporate elements of his playing style. And in homes across America, reruns of Hee Haw introduce new generations to his unique blend of music and humor. As we reflect on Roy Clark's remarkable life, it's clear that his greatest achievement wasn't just his musical talent or television success. It was his ability to bring joy to millions while remaining true to himself. He showed that you could reach the pinnacle of success without compromising your values or forgetting where you came from. If you enjoyed this look back at one of country music's most remarkable pioneers, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about the legends who shaped American music. Share your favorite Roy Clark memory in the comments below, and join us next week for another fascinating journey through country music history.